I still have my notes from last week, and I'm disappointed in how little research I did on Malkoun. I went so strong on Razak Hassan that I faded myself on seeing an alternative outcome. I trusted the numbers, and this is an instance where Malkoun took down his opponent in my profit opportunities. Lots of profit. But we're not here for those types of probabilities. There's no delusional success here. Transparency is a great thing here on YouTube. So this is a great betting card and two of the best women's bouts in years. It's a shame Amanda Nunes could not have been the headliner for this card, but fighting is challenging logistics. There's meat everywhere on this card, and I think I can make a profit. And I promise you, if I don't, I'll quit. There are plenty of spots and opportunities here. I did a little research, and capitalizing, or at least trying to capitalize on this undercard would be key, because you could complement that with what you know about the seasoned veteran fighters on the main card, which I think is a lot easier to predict and to cap for most people. So let's get to our first bout, where I think there is definitely opportunities to make money. Liang Na and Ariane Carnelossi are going to be heading off this card. Apparently, Na is a grapple-heavy fighter. Carnelossi is a miniature version of Jessica Andrade. She is a striker. This is a classic striker versus grappler matchup. Carnelossi is an extremely active, strong, lean, but short woman. Lots of strikes landed per minute. But unfortunately, she also, as you can see, absorbs a lot from what little we do know of her. But I don't think she has to worry about Liang Na striking. I don't think this goes 3 rounds if Liang Na cannot secure a takedown and get that armbar from guard. So give me Soriso. I don't know who the fodder is in these first few bouts, but it's obviously they're showcasing some Asian talent, which is great. Liang Na is sort of an could be an X factor. It's going to be interesting to see who the fodder is and who the winners are here, because Liang Na is plus 165 underdog on the money line. To go the distance for this fight is plus 150. So they're expecting a finish here, and I think Carnelossi can do it. Carnelossi to finish is plus 200. For her to win by submission is plus 500. So if you're on one or the other side, I think these are the two bets to go with. If you're looking for either of the gals by decision, plus 385 for Carnelossi and plus 450. I think we're going to see a finish in this first bout. On the monkey knife fight, I went with more and less for Liang Na. I think Carnelossi is going to get her numbers. She's going to control Liang Na. I think she's going to dominate and dictate where this happens, whether on the feet or on the ground, and gets this victory and start us off with a great women's win. Next up, it's El Jefe Jeff Molina versus Quailing Aori. El Jefe trains at Glory Fitness with James Krause. He's younger by Quailing by 4 years. The popular read on Aori is by KO or him eking out a decision. We got a glimpse of Molina, I believe, on the Contender Series. He's a pretty busy striker at 5 strikes landed per minute. I'm leaning on this possibly going 3 rounds. Neither are pure grapplers, but I see this being some kind of a control over submission affair on the Aori side. This is an even money fight. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing how these newcomers do against somebody that has actually been in the UFC or fought UFC level competition. So I don't know if I'm going to bet this particular card here. If you look at either fighter by finish, it's plus 385 on the Quailing side, plus 400 on the Molina side, plus 175 on the Quailing side to win by decision, and Molina by decision is plus 165. I really haven't decided what I'm going to do here. I think Molina by sub is a possibility. There's a lot of meat here. Monkey Knife seems to favor Molina at 46.5 strikes for the event, and then Quailing Aori at 38.5. I'm looking at him getting more, Jeff Molina getting more, and Quailing getting more as well, as I think this is going to be a striking affair. I don't think we're going to see a submission here. So next up, we have another one of these bouts where we have a gentleman, Rong Shu, who we know very little about. and his competitor, Mr. Vargas, hasn't fought, I believe, in over a year. So Xu Rong is another X factor. The Tapology crowd is heavy with Rong getting a TKO, as Vargas is coming off 2 losses, and his only successes are in Combate Americas, which is not really elite competition. Well, if you look at Xu Rong's last 5 fights, his fighters had a combined 30 losses total, so he's not top-notch either. So if we're not going to go with strength of resume, what are we going to go with? We're not going to create some vapor narrative that the UFC is pushing an Asian fighter and Rong is that guy. I don't think so. I really think that this is just a coin flip. I'm favoring Rong, but it's purely much because he has been fresher lately. Vargas has been out for about a year. He's one of these knockout artists. I don't think I'm going to bet on Xu Rong because I got hit by Razak Halsan last time. It's a sprinkle or pass opportunity here. I think, that I'm slightly skeptical on where Rong is in terms of where the odds are. I don't think there's any meat on this particular fight, and there are better spots to make money later on in the card, so save your money. But sprinkle something on Xu Rong by a finish, which is pretty good at plus 175. All right, next up, we have Dana Batagarel versus Kevin Natividad. Batagarel is another Asian. Is he going to be fodder here? Another Mongolian. He's more of a knockout guy than grappler, which I'm excited about. I think Batagarel and a lot of these Mongolians and Asian fighters entering the UFC can be a very positive thing. It gets a lot of exposure to these fighters that just hadn't been in our market in a long time. Yes, one is successful, but the UFC has always struggled to keep Asian fighters in its ranks, and this is just a great opportunity for a lot of these fighters maybe to showcase their skills, take a spot, and claim an opportunity. And this is one of those instances where Kevin Natividad, his spot is up. Dana is a better, cleaner striker, but out of Jackson Wink. But what does that mean at this time? Who's he training with there? This is a dangerous take here. This might be an instance where you might dog or pass. But Dana being the favorite and Natividad just not being as consistent, I don't really know where to go with this particular one. Again, I don't think there's meat here. I think I might pass because Natividad definitely has a very, very good opportunity, because if he comes in with a grappling heavy game plan from the start of the bell, he can take this fight. I'm certain Dana has great grappling or good anti-grappling, and Natividad likes to trade. So I bet he goes in there. He ignores his fight IQ, game plan. He goes in there and looking to trade with Dana to his demise. So I'm looking really at Dana knocking possibly Natividad, getting that finish. So winning the finish by a Dana is plus 275. Natividad is plus 550. Decision by Dana is plus 175. With Natividad getting a plus 275 lean on that. I think Natividad could be the patsy here. He truly could be the fodder, where Dana Batagarel is the fighter that the UFC wants to showcase. So I'm going to lean on Batagarel. The Monkey Knife Fights is leaning with him as well on getting less strikes than he normally gets, because he's going to knock out Kevin Natividad, or Natividad is going to struggle and grapple a hard-run decision, and so it's going to be less on his side of the strikes there. I'm genuinely excited for this next bout. Tristan Connolly and Pat Sabatini. Tristan Connolly is infamously known for beating and defeating Michael Pieta on short notice when Pieta was showboating, doing all this gloating and crazy strikes, and Connolly was able to take him down, control him for most of the fight, and eke out a victory, and I believe got a performance of the night bonus of 50 Gs. And I wonder if that's something that why we haven't seen him in the past 2 years. He trains at Checkmat in Vancouver, Washington, and I believe he got his black belt from the Vieira brothers. So he's got the discipline and grind, as well as can take a punch, and this time he's got a full camp. So Pat Sabatini is going to be in for it. Even though he's younger and I think physically quicker, he takes very quick shots. He's compact. He's strong. He's coming off 2 finishes in the past year, with one being a KO. I think that's where I think he's going to have a bigger advantage on Connolly, because can Connolly control Sabatini or vice versa? Who's going to be better on the feet? If Connolly can't keep Sabatini down. This is one of those, what happens when grapplers fight? They tend to keep it on the feet. I think that's going to make opportunities for Sabatini to finish standing up, because if it did go on the ground, he's going to be slicker there. Cage Fury champion, as well as a grappling champion. I have to sort of side on the younger, fresher finisher. This is going to be a toe-to-toe fight. I think Connolly is a tough guy. He's there for the fight and the war, and he's going to be there throughout the 3 rounds. It appears that Monkey Knight favors Sabatini, and so do I. It looks like they capped the strikes to be for 2 rounds. So look for Sabatini to have less strikes than 47.5, as well as Connolly having less than 42.5, because I think he's just going to be a survivor against Sabatini, who's a finisher. I'm going to be looking towards Sabatini to win my finish in this, as well as the under being a possible in play for that evening. Next up, we have Dwight Grant versus Stefan Sekulik. This is going to be an interesting fight. Dwight Grant is coming off a loss, I believe, against D-Rod, who I cashed on. I was on the Grant side in that bout. I thought his UFC experience would pull him through. I was wrong. So here we are again. He's now facing a newcomer, Sekulik, who I have very little, was able to look at his fight in Serbian Battle Championship. He's a tight grappler with good escapes, and he's a decent grinder. Both guys have, to what I appear to see as questionable cardio. I think Dwight Grant obviously gassed in that D-Rod fight, besides getting beat up. It could have been called as a TKO stoppage, but these refs are really just not doing the best work inside the octagon of late. So I got to lean a little bit on Grant defending takedowns and catching Sekulik on the center line, because what I saw of Sekulik striking was just really poor. It was very rudimentary. He just didn't look too good. So Rodriguez was hurt by Grant, but survived to come back and win. So his strength and his power is there significantly, because D-Rod is no joke. The guy can take it and give it. So I don't think Sekulik has that intestinal fortitude to withstand too much from Grant. So I think this is going to not make the distance. And if we look at some of the advantages that Grant has in terms of not just the striking, but his takedown accuracy, as well as his takedown defense, where Sekulik's going to want to try to grind this to the ground, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to look at a possible. I'm on the Grant side, and I'm going to look at Grant possibly finishing. Monkey Knight favors Grant for about 2 rounds. I'm thinking about 1.5. So to me, this might be an obvious situation where I'm going less and less for both fighters. I'm also thinking, again, of taking Grant by a TKO or by finish. Next up is a very interesting bout. We have Carl Robertson versus Brendan Allen. It's a case of what have you done for me lately? 2 guys coming off losses. 70% of Typology thinks it's Allen by submission. While I do favor Allen's jiu-jitsu and strength of competition, Allen scares me because of his obvious striking deficiencies. He just absorbs too much and has poor striking defense. I'm thinking Robinson could possibly catch Allen here, but if Allen comes in with the classic grappling heavy formula, he will find that submission, as Robinson has 2 submission losses, which is very dangerous for him in this bout. As long as Allen comes in with a plan, with a strategy. We might not see that. So I might stay away from this bout. Definitely not going to parlay anything in here. I like Robertson as a possible dog or pass. I would take him by finish on the Monkey Knight side fight. Again, I'm thinking less and less. More for Robertson as he's going to try that shot, that one-hitter quitter, and less for Allen as he's going to be fishing for that submission. But I'm going to lean overall on Carl Robertson possibly eking this out. Next up, I'm not too excited about this bout as I don't think there has been a fight with Alex Oliveira that I've found exciting. Well, he's coming in against Randy Brown, who is very exciting. Randy Brown lands a lot more strikes per minute than Alex Oliveira. Oliveira has some submission and has some striking ability. Seems to be at times exciting, but just very inconsistent. Brown lost to Luque his last time out, which is sort of a pass. He gets that. He got knocked out. Luque is on path to get a championship. Prior to that loss, he went sub and KO win to that. So Brown does have a slight ground game. He's going to be more than sufficient, I think, to handle Oliveira. He's going to cowboy his way out of here. I think with an early finish, possibly in round 1 or 2, because Brown has good submission defense. I like his striking a little bit stronger than Oliveira. I'm actually thinking that Brown can come out of this with a submission if he replicates what happened to Oliveira in his last bout with the emerging young Mongolian. So I think this is Oliveira's time to go to Bellator, go somewhere else. So I'm looking at an early finish and probably less than 1.5 rounds. I'm leaning on Randy Brown on that. On the Monkey Knight side, I'm thinking a finish, so less for Alex Oliveira and less for Randy Brown because I'm looking for the under 1.5 rounds as well as Randy Brown by finish and possibly even Randy Brown on the money line. Next up, we have Anthony Smith and Jim the Brute Crute. Everybody assumes Jim Crute's wrestling heavy attack is the formula for beating the teeth out of Anthony Smith, and that might well be. The grappling disparities statistically are startling. Is Crute, what I'm thinking is Crute better than Rosick or Glover? No MMA math here, but the takedown. Crute's a strong favorite here. I might actually utilize him in a parlay piece because Smith just absorbs too many strikes again. Crute statistically just dominates Smith everywhere, both in striking and on the grappling statistics. So it's hard really for me to lean with Smith, even though last time out he did pretty good, but this is different. I think that Crute is indeed one of those young new fighters that is coming up that he's looking for a spot, and Smith just happens to have a spot. I don't think this goes to the decision. It's possible because Smith is so durable. And so I see the possibility of, like, for the Monkey Knife fights, it definitely being a more and more because Smith is so durable. And even if it got close to a finish, I think Crute, that finish would happen closer to the end of the bout. So if you could see that the odds on either of these guys is so meaty by decision, plus 425 for Smith or plus 300 by Crute. So that's quite a possibility. I don't know what to chase where, but I'll be on the Crute side more than likely in a few different spots this evening. On the Monkey Knife fights, I see a more and more as Smith is durable, and I'm chasing a finish by either fighter. Even the not go the distance prop is appealing, but I'm certainly all over Crute. This next fight is another one of those bouts where I'm not so excited about it, as that Uriah Hall has never truly entertained me, which is sad. Uriah Hall does a lot of cat playing. He's sort of a play fighter. He's a gym legend, whereas Chris Weidman is a chin legend. He hasn't a chin anymore, and he's still a legend because what he's done to Anderson Silva and some other fighters on the way to coming up really has established him as a future Hall of Famer. With Uriah Hall, he does. I really don't like his style whatsoever. I find his counter striking just to be a little dull. There doesn't seem to be a lot of fight in him. So every time he does show up, he tends to be a little timid and passive. I think if he changed his style, added a little aggression, because he's so athletically gifted, he's so big, he has great vision, great range, excellent kicks, excellent striking, good takedown defense, all the positives that could make him a champion. So this is a pretty simple fight for him if he could just stuff a takedown and hit that glass chin of Chris Weidman. This is going to be very easy for him. But unfortunately, Hall tends to show a lot of respect, but there's a lot of meat here. Hall will definitely control the striking, and Weidman will control the grappling, and this is just going to be a classic striker versus grappler. Can Weidman hold him down, and can Hall hit him? So I'm really just looking at this. I'm happy that Hall is actually the dog in this, so I'm happy to grab Hall at plus 100. I'm going to take the Hall by finish prop, more likely at plus 188. So we'll see how much I play here. I'm not going to go too heavy on this. I might even sprinkle the Hall by decision, considering how poorly he finishes fighters, and I expect his productivity to be low. As you see, he only lands 3.34 strikes per minute, which isn't that much more than Weidman. He is really just a very passive counter striker. So on the Monkey Knife fight side, I might have to go more for both of these guys because I think Hall's going to keep Weidman at range with his jab paw, and Weidman's going to be able to get some shots in, so he's going to be able to get some more in. So I'm more and more with both of these. And now we've made it. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to stop because this is getting very, very challenging and very difficult for me. We have another fantastic bout. I don't know who is the best underdog of our championship bouts, but Jessica Andrade certainly can be one of them. Valentina Bullet Shevchenko is the most solid fighter that's out there. Valentina is a real-life Black Widow, the most dangerous woman alive, versus Jessica Andrade, who I don't think she's faced somebody like that since Amanda Nunes. So Bullet held her own there. So Andrade is going to be a live dog, but she's going to be pushing it. Her power and durability is going to translate. I don't think Shevchenko is going to finish Andrade, who's going to be active. She strikes much more actively than Shevchenko at 6.38 strikes per minute. Problem is, Andrade gets hit way too much. She absorbs way too many strikes for somebody that is her level of a striker, and the Bullet has way too much striking defense as well as grappling defense. And those are the two factors I think that are going to make her the favorite in this, and that place her in a spot where she can't lose. I don't think that Andrade is going to catch that chin. I don't think Shevchenko has a weak chin. She's never shown to have a weak chin. And I don't think Andrade has the submission ability on the ground if she does get a takedown to submit Shevchenko. That's why the submission prop for Andrade is plus 1,200, whereas the submission prop for Shevchenko is plus 550. I'm really on the Shevchenko side. I think you really have to solidly lean with her as a key, parlay key throughout the night. Andrade is going to make it to the fifth round. So I'm going to be impressed by her will and effort to survive. On the Monkey Knife fight side, I'm leaning with Shevchenko getting her strikes. I think it's going 5 rounds. She's not going to be able to finish Andrade. And I see Andrade staying busy and getting her strikes as well. Well, this has been extremely challenging. I don't think I've done any pick piece this long thus far. A lot of talking, a lot of looking at numbers, a lot of keynote slides. Not a lot of fun doing a lot of this, but this bout is going to be fun. This is going to be the best fight on the card by far. It's champion versus champion with two potential Hall of Fame candidates. Rose has been here before. She's earned this shot by vindicating herself against a brutal defeat. She's going to need all her skills as well as her experience to survive what Weili Yun is going to bring, because Weili Yun is extremely active. She definitely will control the striking if Rose doesn't evade them. Of course, we've seen Rose's counter striking against all of her opponents. It was a great piece that the UFC had put on with Rose, discussing how indeed she's faced a lot of opponents like Weili Yun, but this is going to be different because I think Weili brings a little bit more speed, a little bit more strength. She has all those accolades and then some. I think the path for a finish for Rose is going to be using her grappling for position control rather than submission. That I think will be her key to victory or a finish. So I'm almost thinking that despite everything that Weili brings, that Rose can counter it. Rose has been here before, has been in the spotlight, has been in these 5-round bouts numerous times, and this is going to be a pressure-filled bout for sure. This is going to be the bout that everyone's going to be looking at. We're going to be wanting to see if Weili can sustain a takedown from Rose. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think Rose just has enough knowledge and a combination of ability to do what is necessary in the octagon to eke out a decision or possibly even finishing Weili. It is quite possible by fishing for a submission, getting Weili in an area where she's uncomfortable because she hasn't been taken down in the octagon before. And we've seen Rose taken down and has gotten back up. So we know where she's been and we know how tested she is on all grounds. And that's why I'm going to lean really strong on Thug Rose Namajunas because I believe in what he has proven. Besides the strikes and the fancy abilities, the overcoming adversity is immense. And I'll take that a little bit. I'll add that a little spice or that emotion if I have to and use it as fuel for myself to make some money, where I'll be happy that my fighter won and that I also profited from it. So on the Monkey Knights fight side, I think this might go to a finish. So I'm looking at more and more for each of these fighters, but we'll see. Next up, finally, I've made it. This is new to me. I've never done this before. Never commentated or tried to assess this many fights before. But this last fight, pretty darn obvious. We saw what happened last time. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen with 6 weeks of training? Masvidal, really, even with the amount of training he was doing, the amount of jet setting and living the Conor McGregor life as he's been doing, Kamaru Usman is guilty of the same thing. No excuses for either of these guys. There are definitely guys that are clout chasing, more wanting the spotlight, but the difference is Kamaru Usman's skill set is just more solid all over the place. It doesn't really matter what Jorge does, because Kamaru Usman does every aspect of it better, including the striking. And people don't think that that's the case because people don't recall that before Kamaru Usman was where he is at now with Justin Gaethje and Trevor Whitman, he was at Henry Hooft and with that crew. And he's been with Henry Hooft for a long time. He was a fantastic striker. Jorge Masvidal has been at AT&T and really working on his grappling or his counter grappling for most of his career because he realized that was a fault. So he really is a good opponent for Usman and a live dog. I think if you're going to lean on any way with Masvidal, it's got to be with the TKO, that he catches that chin because we saw that in Usman's last outing, but I just don't think Jorge is going to do it. I'm not going to claim that Kamaru Usman is the next greatest fighter, pound for pound, that we've seen. I've been burned on a lot of these things here and a lot of these fighters. I am going to stay away from this fight. I don't think there's a spot for me here, including on the Monkey Knife fights, where I make money. I don't see any meat over here. There's nothing to place me here. I'm going to just enjoy it. I'm not even going to put Usman in any parlay. He's at minus 435 right now. Is way too rich. I'm not going to bet any of the distance props, as I got burned again last time on the distance prop. I might sprinkle something on Masvidal by finish just for the fun of it, or the plus 1100 by a decision, which would be very, very funny. So I'm really leaning on Usman here. I'm not going to be using him significantly in any way. So we've done it. Never before, never again. More and more for those fighters. But hey, thank you guys so much, and gals, for anybody that's, again, sat through all of this stuff, listens to all this stuff. It's not really what I want to do. I'd prefer to do something else in this industry, as well as with my platform or with my content. And it's going to change. I'm going to do a few different things. This isn't fun. It's not that enjoyable, and it takes a long time, and nobody. But hey, like and subscribe. Make a comment. Talk some shit. Please say something. Do something. Go to the casino. Gamble. Make a bet. Don't make a bet. But have a good time as you're doing it. This should be a fantastic event, a historic event. Besides there being 3 titles, this is a ladies' night, a women's night. Fantastic 2 women's events. I just wish Amanda Nunes could have been on it. It would have been one of the greatest women's event, if not the greatest women's event in history. And I still think this can be. So please enjoy yourselves. Like, subscribe. Later.